a war that they don't even know about, because it's a war inside my head.
Hello, everyone. We're back once again. Same intro every week. It'll never change. Episode 9. All for One Golf Podcast. We got Brian McCurdy.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
You know what's tough is there's times where I'm thinking, oh, good evening or good morning or whatever it is. But just because we're recording this in the evening time doesn't mean that somebody's not going to listen to this at like 5 a.m. in the morning on their way to work or something.
Yeah, I hate sounding repetitive, but I'm like, the countdown happens. I don't know what else to say. And it's like, oh, hey, everyone, welcome back. And it's like,
I've listened to a ridiculous amount of podcasts in the last decade of my life. And I kind of don't like that forced, canned, this is who we are, and blah, 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 repeat the thing and everything like that. I enjoy the ad-libbedness that is the introduction to the All for One podcast.
I try to anyway, but then I just, I want to say something witty or funny or whatever. And this is like, well, I'm just going to say what I know works because then I won't stumble over my words.
Right.
Because that's a big problem in my world. So
this has been good. And this has been an interesting one. Did you see the post that I made on Saturday?
Probably, but I don't remember what it said.
Yeah. So I was doing it for the likes. And what I've discovered in our first 8 episodes of this podcast is that I have a proclivity to say like a lot.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes. So I did 100 rucksack step ups with a 20-pound ruck plate on my back. And every time that I say like, which I'm not going to count these two into this, I'm going to do a box step up for every time I use that word moving forward until I tend to eliminate that from my vernacular. And then I was having a conversation with my wife this evening, and she goes, you said like 3 times. She goes, you need to go out in the garage and go do your box step ups.
That's going to be tough to erase like 40 years of a habit.
Yeah. You ever done 100 box step ups with a 20-pound backpack on your back?
Can't say that I have, but I have done a lot of really stupid workouts.
It sucks, Sean. And I think that it's, that's going to help. I don't think it's going to,
I don't know if it will.
I watch me. I'm going to try not to replace it with ums. That's going to be the next problem. But
I would be a tank if I were to try and do what you're doing with like all the words that I repeat. The worst thing that I do is like, I will repeat the same words several times over in the same sentence. Like, I'll be like, could you please do this task for me? Thank you. Or like, please and thank you. Like, I'll say it twice.
But you're Canadian. That's what you do.
No, but it's in general. Like, I'll say it for anything. Like it's just, I don't reread my sentences. Then I'll just send it. I'm like, man, I said the same word 3 times in one sentence.
Yeah. Do you know what it's called when two people, if you're walking up to an escalator and you kind of 2 people get there at the same time, and then somebody goes, no, after you. And then you go, no, after you. And then you go, no, after you. And then you kind of are like stuck in this situation. You know what that's called?
I do not.
It's called a Canadian standoff.
Oh, yeah. Other people call that in other countries. They use that.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
I've only ever
it's
heard
like
it.
It's like, no, I will out polite you. No, sir, I will out polite you. No,
how many times like I'll open a door for somebody and they look at me? It's like, no, you go ahead. I'm like, I'm already standing here with the door open off to the side. Like, just go.
Yes.
I can name a million scenarios where that happens. Like if I'm riding my bike and I ride my bike as if it's a car, because that's the rules. If I'm waiting to turn left and there's a car in front of me waiting to turn left, it's their right of way. And they're sitting there in the middle of an intersection waving me through. And I'm like, no, dude, you go.
Yeah.
Like,
do you feel that people are politer in Canada, or when you travel outside of Canada, Do you
Uh
do you see that, or is it just that Americans are so rude to each other that when we come to Canada, we're like, oh wow, this is a civilized country?
it's a loaded question. It's very political.
Hmm.
I don't want to get into it, but all you're seeing is a facade.
Okay.
Canadians inherently, if you dig deep enough, we're trash.
Okay.
Honest to God, we're awful people.
Okay.
It's a sad reality once you actually get to know,
Well,
deep
I had
down
to go to
inside the
a
history.
I had to go to a local hardware store this morning, and they had a sign up that said, in a general sense, please be a half decent human being and don't cuss at the employees. And I saw it, and I was there really early, and I go, what a sad state of affairs in this world that we need to have signs reminding people not to scream at people working a cash register.
Yep.
It,
Yeah, I would say
and
like our interactions like that, I don't see very often, but I mean, I've seen people, get pissed off and leave a store instead of, rate escalating. But in general, Canadians, yeah, we're nice to a degree, but I mean, once you dig down, like I've been to the States several times and they're great people too. Like I've been to Seattle, Boston. Um, there's no real difference that I can really
yeah.
find.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the
I
only
guess
thing
that's
about
good.
Boston folks is that their obsession with their sports is a little bit much than I can handle, and I'm a
Yeah.
pure Boston sports fan.
Yeah. Good.
But
Good and bad. All right. So this is a golf podcast. So how did your round go on Sunday?
um, it was a weird one. Went 44-38 for an 82. Didn't play bad, but just like made some costly mistakes. Um, Numbers added up quick, but I recovered the round on the back nine, which was nice. Finishing two over
Yeah.
is always nice to finish better than you start. Normally, I'm a front nine player, but like it's the second round in a row that I've shot an 8 on the second hole,
Oof.
and like it wasn't even. I piped this drive. I don't even know how far it went, but normally, like how the course is or how the hole is cut, it's a dog leg left, and right where the elbow is typically where I land the ball on this one particular hole. This time, I hit it about 50 yards over the fairway into like knee high grass.
Wolf.
So lost the ball and then, just proceeded to. And then a second shot had a big tree in front of me from where I dropped because I'm not going back to the tee to re-tee it. Not happening.
Right. Yeah.
So
How often, as a lefty, do you feel that golf courses are sometimes built against your natural ball flight, or do you feel a lot of times like you're penalized because of the side of the side of the golf ball you stand on?
I'd say it's 50-50 for most of the courses that I play. I mean, you get as many dog legs left as you do to the right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I
because
don't really think of it that way. I just hit
I'm
the ball
sure,
where I need to.
right. I mean, Augusta, there's all sorts of
I
data
think
and research, and like
yeah.
that golf course is suits left-handed golfers a little more in their natural ball flight. Like 10 is a great example of that with the big sweeping dogleg left down the side of the mountain. And then that fairway kind of runs out really fast if you hit it straight or to the right.
Yeah, I can see that. But a lot of the courses here, they're all built just pretty much straight lines. They're all linear, so there's
Okay.
not too many areas or places that I've been to where it's like this course favors a right-hander versus a left-hander. Courses are. I don't think a lot of people build courses with that in mind over here.
Right. Yeah.
They
Well, I
just
was
build
just
them with
curious
what they're
because
working with. Yeah.
there hasn't been too many times in life where I've thought to myself, oh shoot, if I was left-handed, I would be out of trouble, or I've had to flip the club around and try to recover from that.
Yeah, haven't found myself in many situations like that.
Okay. Well, I had
How,
played par three course again this weekend, and I've been a historically underperformer when I play with random people, just randomly like off the tee box, and came up, there was a guy putting. He's like, I'm terrible. Just go on without me. I told him, I'm here to have fun. That's all I care about. Let's, if you want to come along with the ride, that would be great. I'm not going to play all the holes. I'm only going to play 9, but I'd love for you to come along. And he grabbed his bag and went out and played, and went one under through 9 holes again. So I was really pleased. And
you're slinging it right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm playing really good. And to be able to have conversation, joke, do all the things, and be able to continue to maintain the level of process that I've established to play my best golf by myself. I haven't put together an under par round of golf with another person since I was, 14 years old. So I was really particularly pleased with that. And it was just a real boring round of golf. Didn't really putt very well. They had sanded the greens, and then I made a putt on the 9th hole to go 1 under. So that was 3 rounds in a row.
Holy smokes. I've only ever done it once, and I hate being that guy, but I did it by myself. I was playing with a group of ladies. They left after 9 holes. I was even par, and then I finished the round 1 under, 71. It's the only time I've broken par. And yeah, it was by myself. And yeah. I feel like that guy telling that story, but it's the truth. It happened.
I do. It is. I think in a lot of regards, it's easy to. It's kind of the no-hitter situation in baseball. You don't talk to the pitcher when that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in that sort of stuff, but if that's how you want to roll, then sure. But if I was pitching a no-hitter and you came up and talked to me, it wouldn't change the fact that if someone got a hit
or I guess maybe it's not that you don't talk to the pitcher, it's you don't talk about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go up to somebody pitching a no-hitter. I'm like, man, you're pitching well. How about that no-hitter you're throwing there? That perfect game. Yeah. It's only been 24 in the history of baseball.
100%. And that's where mindset and the power of the 6 inches between your ears really wreaks havoc on what is about to happen, because you cannot count your chickens before they hatch. Because as soon as you go, I just got to get 2 pars and a birdie, and I'll shoot my lowest score ever. I mean, you might as well just take a shotgun out and aim it at your toes.
Yeah, because whenever people ask me, like, or whenever you hear stories, what's your score right now? Do you know what you're at? And they're like, nah, I'm not sure. I always know. I can be like, I'm 6 over par. I need to do this in order to break 80, yada, yada, yada. On that 18th hole, I'm like, Sean, you're 1 under. You've got a 4 iron off the tee. All you have to do is not chunk it, and then you've got a pitching wedge in. So what do? I chunked it. But I chunked it just enough where I still got it within a 9 iron range. So I got away with it, but I chunked it because I was sweating. Well, I talked myself up into it.
And I've been thinking about this recently, and I'll have to maybe fact check myself, but it's something in the ballpark of we are capable of 60,000 thoughts a minute, like funneling through your brain, but you can only say a couple hundred words per minute. So as soon as we start running with these wild stories and what ifs and this and that and everything else like that, I mean, there's just so much information that's flowing through our head. And I'm not a manifestation, if you believe it, it will come true kind of person. Like, if I wish on a star hard enough, I'll get a red Corvette in my driveway. I don't think that's going to happen. But as soon as you start to fill yourself with negative self-talk, poof, that's like a magnet of put that out there in space and make that happen. Because as soon as you go, don't put it in that bunker or don't chunk it, your brain goes, oh, cool, chunk it. That's the last thing I heard. Ka-dank.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble. But it was fun. The guy's name was Chuck. He was a really cool guy. I got his phone number. We've been texting back and forth a little bit like that.
Sweet.
He guy chipped phenomenally. He chipped one in on the fourth or fifth hole for a par. So that's always fun to be around for something like that. He had a little bit more of an exciting round of golf than I did.
Yeah.
I went
just tee green putt, tee green putt.
Yep. I went 9 for 9 on greens. So
here's another thing about my round on Sunday though. I'm gonna dig up these facts for you. I'll tell you all the facts, but I'll tell you the funniest one last. So let me dig up my stuff. So before I get into this, speaking of mental stuff, do you get first round jitters or first tee jitters?
Oh, hey, resend that email to him.
I haven't sent it. I was waiting for you to give me the.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll send it in 30 seconds. But I got two questions for you. Do you get first tee jitters?
Not so much at places. If I'm playing by myself, no. If I've gone someplace perception-wise that's bigger or more important than the places that I normally play, yes. I've gotten drastically better about that. And I don't know that I think the jitters is the fear of looking silly for me.
Fair enough. So if you were to ever get selected for a breaking series, what do you think that first tee would be like?
I would do a crapload of meditation that morning and really try to get myself in the right frame of mind. I do find that sometimes I'm able to capitalize on that and really hit the ball pretty well. But I've never played golf in front of 4 cameras and 20 people.
Yeah. See, I did the scramble last year in Seattle, and I thought I was going to be, I was one of the first people to tee off, and you think you got 100 people sitting behind you that it was going to be nerve-wracking, and I bombed the drive. I forgot that there was even people behind me. It was the weirdest thing. It was so cool, though. All right, I'll send Trevor that email in 30 seconds. So, okay, here we go. Stats for my weekend. 82 gross, net 78, front 9 38, back 9 44. We started on the back 9. Pars are better, 9. 2 birds back to back.
Nice.
Greens in regulation, 8. Putting was meh. I had 33 with 1 3-putt. Here's the most interesting stat for you. 1 fairway.
Oof.
On the 17th hole. That does not help.
No.
That does not help having good rounds. And granted, I didn't miss fairways by much, but I still miss fairways. So
yeah, that's a pretty awesome scrambling round to keep it together like that.
I'm the best scrambler you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
that's a thing. When I'm in trouble, things happen.
Yeah, and that's perception, and belief in yourself that you say it doesn't matter where I'm at. I've got a shot. I have an opportunity, and not like sulking and letting yourself wish that you were in the fairway while you're standing in the rough. And if your brain is in the fairway and your feet are in the rough, that is almost always a recipe for a not properly executed shot. So, all right, we got Trevor Lawrence Trevor Larsen. I apologize, Trevor Larsen in from Larsen Golf Co. He is a remanufacturer or refurbisher of persimmon woods. And he's got something really awesome to talk to us about tonight. So I'm going to let him talk about that, but just really super excited to have a conversation with a genuine craftsman and somebody who works with their hands and is refurbishing these pieces of functional art that just feel absolutely amazing when you hit them. I've switched from modern titanium drivers to persimmon driver and a 4-wood maybe 2 months ago, and just absolutely love it.
Yeah, you've been dicing up the golf courses.
Yeah, I've honestly played the best golf of my life with 43-year-old irons and the Hogan persimmons these are like late 80s, early 90s, and then the sand wedge is from the 70s. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to when I go play Oceans. I'm just going to take a 6 iron and a putter, and I'm going to see what I can do for the next really random challenge, because a 6 iron is just not the right golf club to bring to that course, and I'm just going to hit a bunch of low runners and see what I can do.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get diced up at Pinehurst by a guy playing 6 clubs and a guy playing 40-year-old irons and wood drivers. It's going to be embarrassing for me.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I hope I play well there, and I do end up, posting good scores. But I'm so nervous to get diced up by Jeff, because he's gonna let me hear. I'm gonna hear it.
Yeah. Well, we heard him talk a bunch of smack to Niall, so who would not?
Yeah, but like Niall,
I think that's gonna
Niall
be
doesn't
so
claim
fun.
to be good.
Yeah, I notice that now, especially when I'm around other people who are there and having fun and enjoying it, that vibe washes over me, and I'm able to just go out. And I didn't think really anything about what was happening or where. Just kind of got up, did my setup, took my deep breaths, got up to my shot, pulled the trigger. I mean, I hit a bunch inside of 8, 9, 10 feet, and just it wasn't focused nearly as hard on the outcome, but was just trusting the process and getting myself into, okay, this is my 45 seconds to really be dialed in, hit my shot, fill my couple divots, cheer on Chuck as he did his thing, and keep on going.
So I got invited to play this weekend, one of our exclusive premium private courses on Friday. I know I'm like the tee time's at 8:00 in the morning, and I don't know, like I usually get to the course about an hour 15 early. Like I don't know how to drive up to the course.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna get gunned down by somebody, like angry grandpa, running out with a shotgun. Get off my course! They can smell my peasantness. But I'm looking forward to it. I just don't know if I can record the round.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I always feel kind of weird at. I think I've come to the conclusion that even if I ever came into a situation where I could afford private clubs, I think I would still just want to play municipal public golf courses.
Well, the only reason I've got this invite is because the guy that I get lessons from is a PGA pro, right? So he has free access to pretty much any course that he wants. So I got the invite, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pay money to play only one course in my life.
Yeah. Does playing a golf course from the very far back make it a better experience?
I feel more accomplished when I play from the tips and play well.
Yeah.
I mean, like I could go to any course and play from 6,400 yards and just hit irons all day, but I go home feeling like I wasted my afternoon.
Yeah, but if you, in theory, if you're playing a shorter golf course, you're optimally taking or playing it correctly, you're playing with less club. Because if you look at how golf courses are designed backwards, they've got landing areas, and then they take the tee box and kind of go, okay, it's 150 from this area, it's 180 from this area, it's 225 for this area, and it's 275 all the way from the back. So you'd almost be, unless you're just trying to just pound the golf ball into submission and overtake the length of the golf course, it almost plays the same, but you're just taking less club off of the tee box versus.
It depends on how you want to attack the course, right? Because like if this course plays at 7,200 yards or like 68 and 64, I could play it at 68 and just leave my driver in the bag except for par fives.
Right.
But I mean, like, that's taking shots away from me at some points. Like, if I want to just bomb one, like, if I've got the space to bomb it, I'll bomb it. Like, I'll play the course. I'm not going to try and overpower the course because, rough happens, fairways narrow.
Right. Well,
But
and that's the whole decade golf system. Do you have any familiarity with that?
Probably not.
So the premise, there's a magnitude of things, but the overarching premise is that you hit it as far as you can as long as the landing area is 70 yards wide and without any danger. So in danger is out of bounds lakes and woods. If it's narrower than that, you have to go backwards to where the landing area is 70 yards, and then you hit that shot. So many times we get on top of a tee box and we go, I'm going to bomb the snot out of this drive. And you hit it through what should be the natural intended landing area. And then you put yourself in trouble when you should be hitting a 3-wood or a 2-iron to safely put it in that zone.
All right, I think we're in.
Trevor.
I just need to be able to hear y'all.
Hello, sir.
Well,
cool. Thanks for being number 9, Trevor Larsen.
Yes, we can do that.
We've been really excited to talk to you for quite a while about this. You and I have talked a little bit. So I've switched to persimmon woods about 2 months ago, and have just absolutely loved the experience. I picked up a Hogan Apex Persimmon 4-wood at a thrift store on the 50% off day for $5. Just absolutely loved it. And then our RGC buddy, Half Set Jeff, he and I mentioned that we were going to talk to you. He's like, "Is it Larsen Golf Co?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I love that guy."
All right.
He sent me the matching driver, so I have the matching driver and the matching 4-wood. And I initially thought, I'm like, "Oh man, this is fun, but it's going to grow old, and I'm gonna want my modern driver back." And I have not hit that golf club in 2.5 months, and there's no part of me that's like itching to put it back in the bag.
Yeah.
So
the moderns they're fun, they're fine, but to me it's way more boring. They're so consistent, it's boring. It's with the persimmon, you actually have to earn your shot for one. So instead of a rollback with the golf ball, which we can get into, I think professionals should play persimmons. Screw the golf ball rollback, make them play a smaller club head, make them play persimmon. That's going to be the true challenge. It's what all the really, really greats did, other than Tiger. But I haven't played a modern in a while. I play them in tournaments just because why am I going to give someone else that edge in a tournament? But other than that, they're never in my bag.
Yeah. Have you found that when you switch back and you hit something modern, that your confidence and distance is even greater as using a persimmon as a quote unquote training aid?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, bringing it back to Tiger again, he does it still. He's got a persimmon in his bag that he warms up with. The target is so small, you have to hit the sweet spot when you get it back to a modern driver. I mean, your swing is going to change a little. You can really uncork with the modern. With the persimmon, you have to be a lot more smooth and precise. But being able to have that hand-eye coordination to smack that small of a target, it's going to make the modern driver just easy and not as fun.
Yeah. They look like a basketball on a stick. Sean, you want to ask your first question?
Sure.
Hey, Sean.
How's it going? It's funny. Like, I said the exact same thing last week about rolling back the golf ball. I'm like, I would rather them see everyone just playing like a 5-wood as a driver. Because like even my 5-wood was probably about the same size as my first modern driver when I was growing up. So I have no problem with the golf ball doing what it does now. I'd rather them just take the frying pans off a stick and see what we can do with a smaller face.
Yeah, but, right. I mean, even the ball, unless you're playing like Pro V1 Left Dash, I guess, and maybe the new Chrome Soft, whatever Callaway golf ball, they're really not adding that much, I don't think. It's the new modern drivers that comes out every 90 days that really pack all that heat with different weight ratios and things like that. And if you make them go back to lesser technology, it's just going to be harder for them and more fun for us as fans to watch these guys actually be professional, which, I mean, obviously they are, but like, it's going to make scores go down a little bit, and it's going to make watching them come out of these mistakes that they hit so much more fun and interesting. And then I think it's going to make them more human too. A lot of these guys watch these pros stripe it down the middle every single time, and they're like, oh, I want to do that. And they feel like the pressure to have to do that every single time. And then they lose interest in the game because it's so freaking hard. And it's we got to make it a little bit more realistic. But then again, if you're going to quit because you suck at it at the beginning, you truly don't understand the game. So see ya.
It's a double-edged sword. Totally get that kind of logic. I would love to see the pros just have, even if they could just have like a tournament once a year where it's just like wooden clubs, hickory shafts.
Oh, I don't know if they could do
cool
hickories.
Like
some of them swing too damn hard. I mean, I've finally got to hit one, and it's really not that different. I was shocked at how stable and how firm the hickory shaft was. Granted, it's a new hickory shaft. A friend of mine up in Oregon turns his own and retrofits clubs to him, and it's a new one. And man, it was fun. Definitely a completely different swing. You definitely have to pause at the top, not quite like a Japanese like swing pause, or like a lot of the Asian players do, or like Cameron Young, but like you got to have a little bit of a pause to let the shaft catch up with you, and then once you get it down, I mean, you don't really lose that much different compared to a persimmon, which was insane and super fun.
That's crazy.
But with your tournament once a year, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but Goat Hill Park is 20 minutes from my house, and that's where I play all the time. And every November we have what's called the Wishbone Brawl, with Xander Schauffele as the head guy. Usually Freddie Couples comes and plays. We have Jeff Ogilvy plays, who Dean Wilson plays, and we had one other pro other than our local guys. I'm blanking on his name. It'll come to me. But they come out and play. It's a persimmon-only tournament. They play their regular irons and everything. But seeing Xander Schauffele, and then obviously Freddie, who 2-3 years ago brought his persimmon that he won one of his Masters with, was awesome. No rope tournament. There's like, they only let in 500 or 600 people, and everyone just walks, no ropes.
That's cool.
Walks it, and it's just match play. And then we have like Will Kropp, one of our local pros, or Colin Featherstone, who's currently on the Korn Ferry Tour, plays with them and against them, and it's amazing. It's the most fun tournament.
See, I would love to watch a tournament like that where it's a little bit more casual, but there's still some, friendly competition. There's something on the line, but having the crowds wrapped around like the backside of the players, and it's a little bit more intimate, and obviously with wooden clubs or something to make it a little harder for these guys. That'd be really fun to watch. So hopefully one day we get something like that, because they need something between the playoffs now, which are ending, and the end of the year when there's nothing happening and the PGA goes to bed for 6 months.
Yeah, they got to have something, even if it's just purely voluntary. Like, obviously it's not a mandatory event or anything, but just having that ability. You don't even have to take them out to like the old course at Scotland. You can have them do it anywhere. I mean, Gerhardt up on the Oregon coast is like the perfect spot. And there's many other ones, but definitely a link style course. But have them go out and battle it out with hickories would be insane. It would be really cool. But even just the persimmons themselves.
Yeah,
I think that the club manufacturers would rally against that.
100% agree.
Their whole business model has been, wait a second, we sold you something and it was amazing, but we're sorry, we just came out with something better. And fulfillment and happiness and all of your problems will be solved when you just deposit your next $900 into the next shiny thing that, it will work for a while, but then 6, 8, 10 months down the road, you're like, this driver sucks. And
it's not the driver, it's your swing.
No, it's I'm a huge proponent of, and what I've discovered in playing significantly older golf clubs is that it's the Archer. I mean, I have Titleist tour model blades from 1981.
Yes.
And when I line them up loft spec to loft spec on my new model Mizuno JPX 921 tours, I hit the Titleist blades further, loft spec to loft spec. They feel better. They feel great. I picked them up at a church rummage center for less than $20. Got them.
The gold mines where you guys are at. I'm in San Diego, right? You'd think that there would be piles of old epic golf clubs at every single one of our Goodwills or anything here. Nothing. It's nearly impossible to find anything that's, like a treasure trove. You'll find stuff, but the treasures, you just don't find them here because either mainly people still have them here or no, and obviously just no one's getting rid of them, or they get snatched up the second that they're out.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Trevor Larsen? Kind of give yourself a 2-minute introduction.
Oh, man. Well, my full-time gig is I'm a golf course superintendent. So I'm up at 4:30. Yeah, thanks for the one person who's ever thanked us. Just kidding. There's been a few.
Are you allowed to tell us which course you're at?
No, I don't.
No?
I can tell you guys privately later, but I don't like people knowing. I used to do the Turf Today podcast, which is a big agronomy show. I helped start that with Adam. He's based out of Canada as well. And I no longer do the show. Nothing bad. Just I couldn't commit to it. And they're growing like crazy. And it's been awesome to see that take off. But golf course superintendent by day and, player and builder by evening. And, I started Larsen Golf Co. I couldn't come up with a good name that my wife liked also. So I went with the family name and, I started it in March of this year was like the first day that I made the Instagram page. And I think nowadays, as soon as you make an Instagram page, it's really an official business by law.
Yep.
And so I started it then, and it started with I got a couple persimmons in a raffle. We had a Lee Elder celebration event at GOAT. There was a big raffle, and Dean Wilson, old PGA Tour pro local around here, good friend of mine as well. He donated a ton of old persimmons that were refurbished or basically brand new. And my wife and I ended up winning like 6 out of the 10 that he donated in the raffle. And then I started playing them and I fell in love with them. And I started grabbing a couple at Goodwills that I could find. I was like, I could fix these. I grew up in a wood shop with my dad building cabinets. And then for a while I did finish work for a living. And so I've been doing woodwork and finish work basically my entire life, and refinished up an old Cleveland, and it's actually one of the most popular photos on my Instagram page, and I repost it from time to time because it's one of the best ones, and it was still my very first one that I ever refinished. And started getting a little popular there, and then I had people say, hey, can you redo mine? I say, yeah, sure, I can do it for X amount, and started doing that and getting them, a few more on the books, and then started putting out my own and going to Dogleg Brewing Company. It's out here in Vista. Awesome spot. We did like a vintage market, sold a bunch of clubs there, and just started doing a custom option where people can hit me up and say, hey, do you have an old McGregor, M87 or whatever, a Joe Powell or something? And we're like, yeah, I got one of those. And we sing some photos and we go through and we pick and then say, all right, well, it's going to be X amount for this. And if you want it refinished, it's this much, and I can get it going and get it out to you. And so you get to pick your stain color, your whipping and everything, and basically get an old persimmon made to look brand new with the colors and everything that you want. And it's been super fun, and I'd say pretty popular considering I still have a full book of clubs I need to do. But it's been incredible. I did a show with the SCGA recently as well, the Creators in Golf series with them. That was really fun.
Yeah, we should link that in the show notes if we know how to do that, Sean.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on my Instagram page too, and in the bio if you guys ever want to check it out listening. It ended up being a cool day doing that, and I've got invited to be with you guys. So, I mean, it's been really neat and been fun to grow just since March. And it's been purely organic. You know, I don't pay for ads or reach out to people and say, hey, share this and share that. And I'm sure you guys get it when you get those bots for the big pages. Hey, send me your stuff. I'm like, I comment every single one of them. Like, you're literally looking at it. If you want to repost it. I'm not paying you for anything.
No. And you look at them and they've got like 90,000 followers, but then nobody has a comment on anything.
Yeah, no likes, no comments, a bunch of trash content. It's like, no, I'm good. So it's been fun.
So
go ahead.
How did you come into golf? How did that become part of your life? And then how did that transition into working as a superintendent?
I grew up playing. I've been playing since I could walk, just like the rest of my family. My grandmother, she taught us all. My grandpa did too. She's about to be 95 next month, which is crazy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, she stopped playing probably like 8 years ago too, which was a bummer. But my cousin, he plays. He's one of my best friends, and he's actually an assistant superintendent up in Oregon. And he's been doing it a whole lot longer than I have. And it was about 6 years ago. I moved down to the Central Valley to be with my girlfriend, now my wife. And I got a job at a golf course just to get out and go play free golf. And it's an amazing job. I mean, it's an office where I get to see the sunrise every single day, and I'm outside and I get to put on headphones and just get to work. Now as a superintendent, it's really not as freeing as just being on the crew, but there's still days like that. So it's ingrained in my family and in my blood, if you will. My dad played, everybody, my aunt still plays, and our family reunions, we used to have golf tournaments and
fun.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really do that anymore. They're all too old, and my cousin and I are too good. So there's just no chance for any of them to win. And so it's just every time I go up to Oregon and we play and battle it out. And he usually beats me, but I don't really care. It's all good. It's all for fun.
And have you been up with the RGC crew at all? Like, are you a part of the app at all, or are you someone that follows what we're a part of here, or did you just kind of stumble upon that when Brian started talking to you?
It was more of a stumble. RGC being Random Golf Club, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. So I've known of Random Golf Club for a long, long time. I've never really done anything with them or anything like that. I've had people reach out to me on my page saying, hey, I saw you on the message boards. I said, cool. And then I joined, and to be honest with you, it's way too overwhelming. I have no idea what's going on in there. So I signed up, made like one post like, hey, thanks if you've noticed me. And then that's it. So if you guys see me on there and you write me on there, I'm probably not going to see it. I haven't looked at it since I made it because it's like Reddit or the Discord stuff. It makes me sound old. But I have no idea what's going on in any of those rooms or how they work. So I don't even.
Neither do we.
Yeah. I was listening to one of your guys' episodes today where you're talking about, I guess they came out with a new app and it wasn't super good. I mean, that was a while ago now. I think it was one of the first episodes. So hopefully they've ironed some things out. I didn't even know there was an app. I went onto the website and I think that's what made it even more confusing.
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, not obviously, but everything's always going to work out in kinks.
Right.
It's a road with a lot of potholes right now.
Hey, it sounds like California. Awesome.
Yeah. So what goes into, so you get a beat up, janky, old persimmon driver, kind of walk us through the process of how you take something like that and turn it into a functional piece of art again.
Well, fortunately, I don't really get too many that are crazy beat.
Okay.
I have gotten a couple at like the secondhand Goodwills, like where they're about to throw everything out and you get it for 50 cents, that have been completely nearly destroyed, and just used those as practice and actually made them, better looking. But it starts with one. I got to take photos of it because I want to see the before and after. I'm going to cut the whip off of it. If you guys don't know what the whip is, it's just the black kind of
the wiring stuff.
Yeah, wiring stuff. That's the best way, because I was going to say it's the black whipping on it. I'll cut that off. It's basically like a really thick fishing line, the old stuff. They glue it on sometimes depending on the manufacturer. There's a lot of glue or a little bit of glue. So I'll cut that off, just peel it back. And then I actually use a wire brush. I don't like to use chemical stripper. It takes forever. It's messy to clean up. I have to buy 10 times more gloves than I already have. And I don't want my dog to lick that on the ground. So I'll use a wire brush on a drill and kind of just scrape a little bit of the old finish. And depending how much there's on there, if it was refinished and someone used shellac, which is a disgusting product that is basically bulletproof though, that might take a little bit longer. A lot of them were just used with polyurethane back in the day. It's not as good as the stuff today. And I'll scrape it back, and then I'll use 120 grit sandpaper on an orbital sander and sand it all off, keep the shape. Then I'll do measurements. I'll measure the loft. I'll measure the radius on the face. Depending on the customer, I've changed those, given them more loft, less loft, open them a degree. I can't really close any degree, but I had a Titleist, not a Club Pro. Actually, I think he's a Club Pro, but a staffer, Titleist staffer, not like a PGA Tour Pro. But he sent me his set. They were AT11s. Titleist's, and it was closed like 3 degrees. You put that down at a dress, it was gross. It was, I think they either made it wrong or someone ordered it because they couldn't hit the ball. And so I opened that up about 3 degrees, and just literally just sanding it back and trying to keep the radius and keeping its loft. And after that, I will spray it down with water a little bit. And when I say spray it down, like I'll put it in my sink with just like the hose and the spray feature and just douse it once. What that's going to do, it's an old finishing trick. It's going to make the wood absorb. It's going to pull out any kind of dents that are really tiny or scratches that are really tiny. And then I'm going to let it dry out for the night. And then I'll go and sand it down with 220 grit with the orbital. And then I'll use it by hand at 220 to get all the orbital circles and scratches out. And from there, it's cleaning up the front insert. It's going to be hand sanding the sole plate, which I do by hand with 220 to start, and then I do it with 400 grit. And then actually just recently got a polishing wheel so I can polish them up really nice. The trick is sanding them down first, because with the polishing wheel, I can make it look shiny, then you look at it close and it looks like you greased a turd. It doesn't look as good. You don't get any of the scratches out or any of the dings that you can. Obviously some of them are too deep, but I'll hit it with that real quick. Then it's into the stain, just stain it up real quick and onto the poly then in about an hour after staining or so. And I spray mine on. I don't dip. I'll do about 4 coats. I've had several people ask me what do I use. It's just your basic satin polyurethane from Home Depot. Nothing crazy. And I'll spray it. I'll give it about 3 or 4 coats. And then it's onto the whip.
So all things being considered, start to finish, and every club's a little different. Sounds like several hours per golf club. Yeah. I mean, and it'll take me, with my crazy schedule, I have to give people about a 4 to 6 week window. And that makes me not stress over it. If I could do this full time, I could turn around a club in 3 days easily. Wow. And that's just being cautious and being very, very, very detailed. I have turned around a club in 1 day. I did it for one of my really good friends. It was his birthday. And he took it home, still drying the last coat of poly, and had it like lodged in his seat so it wouldn't touch anything, because he was playing early the next morning and wanted to play with it. So, dude, this thing needs to dry. And so I whipped it golf first, and he ended up playing with it, and he played with he works for Titleist, and I think he played with one of the LPGA players, and he was just smoking the ball, and it was pretty cool. It does. There is a certain level of machismo that you feel when you are standing at a golf course or on a driving range and you're just absolutely hammering a persimmon driver. Oh, it's the best. When I walk up with mine at a club at Goat Hill, a lot of us play persimmon all the time. It's not a big deal at Goat, but I go anywhere else onto like your regular size course, and I have people go, "You really play that?" I'm like, no, it's just in my bag to look pretty. What do you mean? Yes, I play it, and I'm gonna outdrive you. Like, get over it. And then it happens, or I shank it and just make an ass of myself. But people, it blows their mind. It's just I don't get it. It's basically like driving a muscle car.
It's just if I pulled up with like a 65 GTO in the parking lot, you're like, oh my God, you really drive that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
dude.
not?
Like, come on.
Yeah. Why do you think there's been the crowd has been so receptive and encouraging, and there seems to be this market for persimmon driver? What's your feelings on that?
People are getting tired of the modern driver coming out every 35 seconds. The modern driver costs more than my mortgage. That's a lie, but it's close.
It's not far off.
And the persimmon, especially if you get it from me, sales pitch, you're getting a 1-of-1 driver and or set. Yeah. You're getting something that you can pick basically what it looks like without breaking the bank. I mean, you know, you got to pay for what I've got. I mean, a club with a driver for me will range anywhere from 150 to 250, depending on the driver. The more rare the wood, the more expensive it's going to be. But base price is 150. Sometimes I'll run a special at like 125, but that's your club and the full custom at whatever you want. And then shipping, which is usually anywhere from $7 to $14. So, you know, you can get a driver with me that's going to be what you want, looks wise. It's going to be gorgeous. People are going to go ooh and ah every time you pull it out of the bag, and then it's not going to break your bank. And then when you learn how to hit it, you can get your $1,000 driver and completely crush it.
So I think the other thing too is I've noticed I've probably lost 45 yards of distance from my modern to this. But I mean, I hit my TSI 3, 320, 325 plus, and now I hit my Hogan Persimmon 280, 282 is max. That's still a significantly long way to hit a golf ball.
Well, people look at it enough. They see Rory, they see Bryson, they see Scotty that are piping at 350. Everyone listening, you're not going to do it. 280 with a modern is great. As long as it's down the middle, who cares? Distance, it's not, chicks don't dig the long ball in golf. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, you know, your modern person's not going to be killing it. Like even 320, like that's insane, bro. It's insane.
Yeah. I'm 6'4", so I got a lot of lank. It helps.
Rory's,
but what I found with a
4'10",
modern driver is I can get into big trouble really fast because I'm hitting it further than I need to be hitting it.
Yeah.
And with the persimmon and that focused attention and putting together a quality tempo-based swing, if I hit it 275, 280, the ball doesn't fly nearly as high and it doesn't slice nearly as far either. So I'm keeping it down and in play, and I'm not losing golf balls like I would when I was just absolutely trying to hammer a modern golf club.
Well, and you have a little bit more spin too with the persimmons, which is going to reduce your rollout most of the time.
Yeah.
And then it creates a better game after it too. It's not every par four you go from hammering a drive to, a pitching wedge. Hammering a drive, pitching wedge. Like the game is so much more fun when you have to place a shot and you have a longer iron in. And that's the biggest complaint with the PGA Tour and like why they're doing that rollback, in my understanding, is that they're just hammering it and it's a short iron. You're not seeing long irons, and that's forcing these par threes to become 230, 250 yards now, which is fun to watch on our end, but so unnecessary when they just need them to play persimmon. Like, make them earn their spot, have them hit 7, 6, and 5 irons in rather than pitching wedge or 60 degree every single time, and create that old school strategy game rather than just pound it as close as you can, and it doesn't care if you're in the rough, bunker, trees, whatever, you're still 30 yards away from it. But make them think. Obviously they still do, but make them think more from the tee box.
What's your thought on what golf ball should you be hitting with a persimmon driver?
It doesn't matter to me. I still play Pro V1s or TB5Xs with mine. I've played baladas with them, and I think it's disgusting. I also, to be fair, I hate a soft golf ball. I hate it. There's not a Callaway ball I've ever hit that I've liked because they're all too damn soft. I hate a soft golf ball. The softest ball I'll play is like a Titleist AVX, or maybe the Tour Response TaylorMade. But to me, it doesn't really matter. It depends on the insert that's in your club. If you have a driver or like a wood from, say, the 1910s or 20s, believe it or not, the 20s when they started using steel shafts, so you could easily have a head from the 20s with a steel shaft. So don't make steel shafts make you think it's from the 50s, 60s, or 80s. It can still be super, super old. But if you have one of those older ones, the face insert might not be able to take the hardness of the new ball. Anything from the 70s and on is basically fine. A lot of the glass inserts are fine. That video of Bryson hitting the Joe Powell persimmon went freaking wild. I have the 3-wood. Actually, no, I sold it. I had the 3-wood matching in my shop. It has the glass insert. It's not purely glass. It's got like fiber in it. But it's basically glass. I think can obviously handle the modern ball and Bryson's swing speeds. So to me, it does not matter what you play. You're going to get a little more distance, but you're also getting a ton more spin with a softer golf ball and a persimmon. And I haven't quite really done the numbers like spin rate and whatever comparing balls with me hitting persimmons, but I still love the feel of an extremely hard golf ball.
Yeah.
I would say no Kirklands.
Never even hit one, so I don't know. I'm so spoiled, though.
Spinny, so.
I'm so spoiled with people that I know and friends around here, and just being able to barter and trade and just have great people. So like I'm one of the few lucky ones that's just so spoiled with all of that, and so unfortunately don't really ever have to try and buy golf balls that often.
That's a good problem. If you ever,
it's a good problem.
If you get too many, you can send some to Sean and I.
We'll see about that. You can never have too many.
So, how many hours a week is dedicated to and or around golf in your life? Because as your job, as your full-time job, your part-time job, and then you're like, oh, hey, also I want to go play golf. It seems
the limit
like
doesn't exist.
Luckily, my wife is incredible. Unfortunately, like she doesn't get home until about 7. So, and I'm off at 1:30. So going and playing golf is not a problem. I would say basically from the time I wake up to about an hour and a half until I go to bed, there's some sort of golf happening, whether it be working, playing, practicing, or working on clubs. And then I do artwork too. I've done artwork for several different brands. I don't know if I should name drop or not, but I've made a couple of pros head cover designs. I've worked with a couple head cover companies, smaller companies, doing logo and design work and all that kind of stuff. So,
so it sounds like the creative process and like refurbishing and building things has been something that massively fuels you.
Yeah, I like being able to make something and look at it and go, "Damn, I just did that." That's one thing that really drove me to groundskeeping is when you mow something, you turn around, it's all striped and pretty and perfect. Oh, yeah, I just did that. Like, that's awesome. And then you have someone roll up like, oh man, the course looks pretty today. You're like, So I don't know if that's just fueling an ego or not, but I call it pride. Like I take a lot of pride in the work that I do. And I take my time with the woods that I have and trying to make them perfect for everybody and get them exactly what they want and make it look as good as it's going to play.
There's some Titleists that I've seen pictures of, and every time I see them, I just go.
That's that Titleist 4-wood. Yeah, that one. That was one of my favorites.
It looks so good. I just am like, I don't need that, but I'm like, it really yanks on me every time I see it. Like
the Hogan set.
If Jeff ever asks for his Hogan back, I'm gonna hit you up for a Titleist driver.
Those are the hardest ones for me to come by, other than left-handed stuff. Okay. And when I get
speaking of lefties,
I have 2 things for you, and that's it right now. I'll leave that for you later, Brian.
Okay.
I have a guy right now that he's a school teacher. He hit me up. I don't know where he was in Wisconsin or something. And he sent me a photo of this old bag full of old lefties. And I was like, I'm going to buy that from you. It was great. And we settled on price and everything. And I hit him up. I was like, hey. And he's just like, dude, I'm swamped. School's just starting. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they're yours. Like, I just can't ship them yet. I'm like, cool. No worries, dude. Like, all good. Like, but just know, as soon as you can, those are coming to me.
Yeah.
So lefties are hard, but Titleists are that's my gold mine, which is hilarious because to me, they're not the rarest of persimmon clubs when it comes to collectability, I believe would be a correct word. Like I have a set of like the commemorative like 1956 Ben Hogan with the relic like head on them with the original head covers, and that set's all original. Like that set's like a $1,500 set as is, and I'm definitely not going to touch them other than packing them and selling them to someone. But I don't see that kind of collector's editions of Titleist, but when I get them, people want them so fast because of the name. But frankly, I've never hit a persimmon that I've liked more than the Titleist ones. I don't know if it's placebo or what, but my gamer is a Joe Powell made, because Joe Powell used to make a lot of the old tour model Titleists. It's a Joe Powell made Titleist driver, and it's my gamer, and I've had countless people try and buy it out of my bag. And it's hard to do. There's a number for it, but no one's met that number yet. And I might puke if someone did. So, for instance, I had a Ram that had a. Oh my God! I can't believe I just brain farted. This your basic shaft knowledge. Jesus, not a steel shaft. Wow, I feel dumb. I'm like trying to flex on all my knowledge here, and I can't even think of the shaft. What's every other shaft ever made for a driver?
Fiberglass.
No.
Graphite.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. I had a Ram wood that I refinished, and I made it kind of look vintagey, kind of scuffed it in places and made the edges darker, and it looked old but brand new. And I put a bitchin' whip on it, and it had that graphite shaft on it that was sick, and the thing was just an absolute missile. My wife and I got invited up to the Bandon 25th anniversary event and party to have a booth. So Larsen Golf got invited to go for the 25th for Bandon, which was awesome. My wife had never been. It was my second time. Shorty's just opened. We got to play that. That's a whole other story for a different time. But like we got to have a booth set up, and one of the club pros up there, he ended up buying like 3 or 4 clubs from me. One that was done, and then a couple of custom ones and things like that, and a bunch of other people. It was a great show. Sold a ton of clubs and just had a blast. And the next day we're out on Bandon crossings off the resort, and we're playing, and I have that Ram driver with me. And the guy, the club pro from over at Bandon, he's in the group behind us. He rolls up because he saw us, and I was playing with some of the other caddies and buddies from Bandon. So he rolls, hey, what's up, guys? Blah, blah. And I was like, here, dude, hit this, because I didn't bring it to the show because it was mine. So I was like, here, hit this. And so 3 holes later, he comes ripping up. Parks, how much? And I was like, oh, dude, you're killing me. Like, that's my personal. And I shot him a number, and he's like, done. Venmoed me right there. Bought it on the course, never seen it again. But it was just like, okay, so now I know when it's my personal, we're going to hike that up even more. But it couldn't have gone to a better guy and someone that's going to go and just bang it around and kill it. But it was just like, damn it. They need to stop showing or making my gamers cooler than the other ones.
So what's your unicorn that what's the unicorn that you've found, and what's the unicorn that you're searching for? Well,
I've had several unicorns, so you can call my garage Scotland. For those who don't know, it's the national animal.
Yeah, Scotland. I knew that. That's Did you know that, Sean? Sean is of Scottish heritage. You should know.
I could tell by the beard.
Beard, red hair, yeah.
Do you know what the national animal of Scotland is, Sean?
It's a unicorn.
Yeah, okay.
So he could have either said that with a lot of confidence, knowing that we just said it, or he knew it. It's one of the two.
Nah, I knew it.
Yeah,
you don't be Scottish and not know that.
I know, right?
Right. How could?
It's like the only question on their citizenship test.
Right. What's our national animal? Okay,
right.
Go back on topic.
I have a Joe Powell Dead Solid Perfect all original with the Newman's grip on it and the matching 5-wood. I've got that commemorative set of Ben Hogan's that I was talking about. I have several McGregor M85s. I have McGregor Tony Panas. So there's a ton of Panas that everyone else knows, but a lot of people don't know that he was a builder for McGregor first, just like Tommy Armour. Although I think Tommy Armour was McGregor first and went off and did his own. Also a player. But Penna, I have McGregor Pennas, I have regular Pennas. And then I have one of the original Callaway long drivers with the hickory shaft. Those shafts are really cool. The R&D department was messing up and they couldn't keep their shafts straight. They couldn't figure it out. This is when they're still doing hickories. And they brought in, I forgot his name, but he was a Japanese pull cue maker. And they brought him in and he actually designed the new shafts and did all that. And that was really cool because my wife's part Japanese. It's like, that's just a cool story. And so there's actually a steel rod in those long drive, or is it called the long driver? Just the driver shafts, the old Callaways. That thing's not necessarily a unicorn, but it's really, really close. What else would I have to find? I love Joe Pell's. They're some of my favorite. I mean, there's a lot of them that you see or hear of, and you kind of just like, oh God, I want that. I have right now. I'm sitting on over 400 clubs in my garage right now.
Oh wow! And you've accumulated this since March of this year.
I did buy a fairly large collection from a guy in Palm Springs, so I'd say over half, maybe like 3/4 of it came in one swoop. Okay. But I did, when I went up to Oregon for that event, I did come back with about 120 clubs. So
wow.
Yeah, that was shipsticks, man. Stuffed them all in one box, got them back.
You're like the Stacked Golf channel for old clubs.
Yeah, my shop. I wish I had like an actual storefront. That is a goal at some point, but if my car wasn't in the garage, because like I literally have to park my car in the garage, so my shop is wrapped around my car when it's parked. So when I work on it, I pull it out. But it's, yeah, I have like 7 staff bags, I think. And those are mainly used for shows, but a lot of them have a ton of clubs in them. One of them is completely full of Powerbuilt clubs, and I'm really excited to talk about that. I'm going to be working with Powerbuilt. We're going to be doing a program of refinished Powerbuilt clubs that will be available on the Powerbuilt website.
Oh, cool.
So
we know Paul a little bit. He's a fan of the show.
He texted me today and goes, "Oh, you're going to be on the show, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, is it cool if I talk about Powerbuilt and everything?" He's like, "Do it, yeah, absolutely." So I see Paul at least every other week, I'd say. I usually hit him up and say, "Hey, I'm going over to Dog Leg. Let's get a beer." He's like, "Cool, let's go." Yeah. So working with him, and then
they got some cool stuff coming out too with new. I saw they got some USGA approvals for irons and wedges.
I have those Atlas irons, the first ones that went through. Oh my God, dude! They are butter knives. First off, they are teeny tiny, but man, are they insane! Powerbuilt is. If Paul can get what he needs to get these clubs out, I mean, look out for Powerbuilt, man. There's some hot stuff coming out.
Really cool to see these heritage brands starting to make inroads back into the game.
Yeah, you've seen it with McGregor's got their direct-to-consumer clubs now that look pretty good. I saw Lynx started making irons again.
Where's Yonex? We need them to come back now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
well, when I was at the PGA show, they were there this year.
Ooh.
But I think that I don't think they have that market share in America like they do over across the Pacific.
Yeah, I mean, like Powerbuilt's got a pretty good presence in Australia and in Japan and China, I believe. So bringing their new stuff here has been really fun. I love having them in my bag. 1, I love playing them. And then 2, people are like, "Oh, what are these?" And they look at them, and I mean, they're so simple, but so bold at the same time with the orange bolt, and they're just awesome looking clubs. And then I'm like, hit them, and people are like, "Oh my God, like, what is this?" I even played like the 3 iron is probably my favorite club in that bag. It's insane. but I'm excited to be able to work with Paul and help bring back this persimmon game along with Todd Dempsey, who's incredible, a huge inspiration of mine when I started it. And I've talked to him from time to time. He's a great dude, and I'm hoping to be able to work with him more in the future.
He lives just up the road. I'm in Daytona Beach, and he's like an hour and a half north of me. And I just want to like knock on his door when I show up and be like, can we hang out? Let's go surfing. I surf. He's my persimmon driver. Can I be admitted to your club?
Yeah.
Do it.
Todd's
that's worse that happens.
Todd's an awesome dude. He's like I said, a huge inspiration, and his woods are awesome. I got to re-whip a set. Someone who bought an old set of his brought him into my shop, and I re-whipped him. I've asked him questions from time to time. He's always been super helpful. There's a whole page on Facebook. The only reason I got it back was to join this group, and it's got a bunch of these old builders in it, just absolute legends in the game, and they've been nothing but help and support to me and everything else, and it's been really cool. If I name them all, I want to be able to name all at least the big three, which would be Nim Brand, I believe, David Bass, and John Hayes. Those three guys, they still make their own, but they also do a lot of refinish and refurb work, and they have their own shops and are unbelievable dudes and incredible craftsmen. Oh my God. Like it's.
Yeah. So how many people I'm sure there's not like a national association of persimmon driver manufacturers.
No, but you have like the National Golf Heritage Society, which is all about the persimmons and hickories. So that's a pretty big one.
So how many people do you think in America are still doing this?
I named the three, and then add on Todd Dempsey and myself.
So 3. And so 5.
And 5. I wouldn't even put me on there, at least not yet. But that I know, it's those 3. You have Louisville Golf still makes them, and then there's a company called Middle Ground that still makes them as well. So Louisville Golf is still pulling them out. And I'd say 7 at maybe not a minimum, maybe even at a high end, but yeah, it's not very many. That's
crazy.
I could be totally wrong too, but out of everyone that I've
right. I mean, you're pretty well connected to it, but even still, even if you were off by a third, and there's still 20 people in the country doing it at some.
I honestly would be. If you're talking pure builder, making them from a blank turn and inserts everything, I think England might have a few. As for the States, I would be shocked if it was 20. Thoroughly shocked.
Yeah. Well, and that's awesome. So, thank you for continuing starting to do this and continuing to live that legacy, because I'm sure those other 3 guys have got to be up there in age, correct?
No, not really. They've,
okay.
I don't want to guess for them. They're not in walkers or anything.
Right.
Sorry, guys, if you're listening to it, I'm not making fun of you. No, I would say 50s, 60s, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, not old, but not young. But that's awesome that they have a willingness to share their craft and parlay that information down so that it can continue to live on. Because I'm sure there's not a ton of information if you Google how do I build a persimmon driver.
No, you can get like what was that old TV show that was on like Discovery, like the How It's Done or whatever show. Like there was an episode on persimmons, which was pretty cool.
You ever eaten a persimmon before?
No, they look terrifying. I'm good.
They don't taste very good. They got a weird chalky taste to them.
I'd rather chew on the wood itself.
Yeah, no. The fruit is not delicious.
So
you want to talk about the super amazing, really cool thing that you mentioned on Instagram today?
Oh man, it's already been almost too busy. I should have waited. I'm trying to find it. Here we go. So just a quote of how these guys are first before we get into that. I was talking to David Bass, who's a teacher and a builder, and all these guys know each other. He goes, just so you know, John Hayes, Nim, and myself are all great friends. We do not consider ourselves competition to each other. It's more like a brotherhood. And so that was like, I never thought they were competition to each other, but it was still like awesome to hear. And all three of them, those are all three like legends, have helped me out every step of the way that I've needed or asked for, to the best of their abilities. And it just sucks that they're all on the East Coast, and I'm over here. But as for today, I did announce, and it's something I've talked about openly here, and it's always been a goal. But we're getting closer and closer to having the first round of Larsen Golf Co. Persimmons available. I'm going to kind of open it up to like a deposit system because they're still not ready. But I wanted people to be able to get onto it. And then frankly, they're kind of expensive to make. And, it's better to have a couple committed in this first round to be able to help with the production side of it. And then obviously get the best quality product I can do. So if anyone listening is interested in those, there's a post on my page at Larsen Golf Co. There's a post here on the pod page, and shoot me an email with the general interest, and that's for serious people. So I put the email on there so that if someone's actually got to read the post, because a bunch of people are going to go, oh, I want what I want, and I'm like, cool, it's this amount, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, never mind. I think I hadn't settled on a final price yet, but it's not going to be any more than $400. So, and that'll be shipped.
So still significantly less than a modern off the rack.
Yeah,
driver.
Definitely. And, it's going to be completely
American made,
yes.
Craftsman built, one of one.
And
I mean, I don't think that's that unreasonable. And a piece of,
well, it'll be like one of 10, I think.
Right.
Judging off of interest, there's been a ton, but off of serious interest, I think the first run I might do 10, and they'll have its own name, and I'll probably stamp on it like 1, 2, 3 out of 10. Just in case this ever becomes something really cool, that can be something really special for somebody. My wife just got home too.
So give us a Cliff Notes. You buy a 4x4 chunk of persimmon, and then how does that turn into?
So I have already blank turned heads. I actually have old stock Ben Hogan blank turns. So to make those like in-house would be very, very, very difficult. So they make them. Louisville still makes them. Middle Ground still makes them. And then there's some folks that I know and have connections to that have these old Ben Hogan ones like I have. And then a different company that I won't mention until I can actually get them. But I'm going to be using those. So they'll be original Ben Hogans initially. And then I'll cut them and shape them the way they need to be. So right now it's like a raw blank. I can send you a couple photos of them too. They're pretty cool.
Okay. So almost like a surfboard blank.
Yeah.
80% of the general
I would
shape,
say this is like I'd say it's like 75%. So it's going to have like two nubs on it. The neck is still just thick. So the way that they make them is really, really cool. So they'll have a machine called a replicator. And it's basically a big router. And they have the full block on top. And then they have stage 1 through however many stages they need on the bottom. And that bottom one's going to have a wheel that presses to the one that's already kind of turned. And then the router up top is going to cut it out identically to the one on the bottom. And as they go through the stages, putting it closer and closer to the last blank, they fill, they put into that last shape. The replicator does the exact same thing up top as the bottom as it rolls on a wheel compared to like a chisel up top or a drill or whatever they use for the router. And we get these blank turns, and that's who, like Louisville will make those still, and then they go from there. They'll cut off the nubs, and then they'll route out the face and the sole plates, and then they start shaping. Usually kind of start shaping the wood a little bit before you do all the routing, because you want it to be as close to it as possible. But I think I'm sitting on 40 blank heads right now. So
cool.
Grip it and rip it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
You can edit that out.
I like her style.
Good Lord.
Listen, we are a podcast about having fun and really kind of embracing the imperfections within the show. So
embracing the imperfections of the show. It sounds about right.
No,
I'm just busting balls.
Yeah, edit that out.
They're not going to edit it out.
Yeah.
No way.
Nope, not a chance.
You've made it to the podcast,
No
Mrs.
3
Larsen.
putts.
She has yelled no 3 putts. I don't know if you can hear her.
So she like someone that goes to a golf tournament and she's like yelling at the like
Mashed
light that candle,
potatoes.
mashed
No,
potatoes.
that's the most embarrassing thing ever. If she were to yell at a golf tournament, I would leave her. No, I don't. I hate the people who yell mashed potatoes or any of that. It's like, or get in the hole.
Dirty, get a birdie.
Good Lord. Like the people who yell get in the hole on a drive, on a 4, I don't care what hole it is, unless it's like a chip or like it's like rolling to the hole. Like I don't know if you can cuss on the show or not, but shut up. Like, it's so stupid. You sound like such an asshole when you yell any of that stuff. Granted, there's been a few funny ones, like where was the guy that yelled out like "Give me back my kid" or whatever. Like,
give me back my son.
Yeah, every now and again there's a funny one. But I can't stand mashed potatoes. God, it's so stupid.
1 point Gryffindor.
Yeah, that one was funny, and then it's only funny once, and that's the thing is people catch on, and then they beat it to death, and it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
But call me a purist or whatever, but that grinds my gears. So yeah,
I can deal with it once in a while, but yeah, mashed potatoes and light the candle and get in the hole. I just like
God. Anyone who yells
just
get in
wait
the
for the
hole.
ball to get near the hole.
Yeah, if it's getting close, fine. If you're actually actively rooting for that ball to get in the hole, which we all do with sports,
Or if your girlfriend's saying it.
good Lord, woman.
Come out.
Did we just get our first "That's What She Said" joke?
Yeah.
Basically, she said, unless that's what your girlfriend's saying.
Get in the hole.
I don't know if it's a good thing if she's saying.
We should interview her next.
Hey, babe, they got you on the slot for the next episode.
Oh, really
Does next Tuesday work?
Yeah, are you available next Tuesday?
See you next Tuesday.
Oh, good Lord. She goes, see you next
Oh,
Tuesday.
hey.
That's my wife. Proud of her for that one. That was good.
I ran into that one. I didn't even notice.
Man, it's pretty loose then. Ooh, keeping the puns
Hey.
rolling.
Right.
Hey. She comes home and casually eats a chocolate pie. This is my life, guys.
We might laugh
It's
as much
breaking
as
down.
we did with Niall on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
What other questions you
I
got,
think
Sean?
she could match up with Niall now.
Yeah.
they're saying you're going to fight this
Oh.
guy, Niall, and kick his ass.
Why?
I mean, he's a giant Irishman, but
She just said, and like rolled her eyes. She's like, yeah, whatever. Oh,
So-
go on.
now Niall's going to get beaten up by a lady and lose a golf match to a guy in his 50s with only 6 clubs. Tough break.
Sorry, Niles. Oh, all right, let's get back on track here since we got thoroughly derailed by
what were we
Miss Fun
talking
over
about?
here.
Yeah. Well, we was talking about the new drivers. Do you think that if somebody asked for one of those for Christmas, do you think they'd have one in their bag by Christmas?
I will know that in, I'd say, about 2 weeks to be safe, if that's
Okay.
going to be possible or not. So this first round, I don't have all of the tools to do the super, super, super precise things such as routing out the face and sole plate. I have to outsource that, and it's going to it'll be an American made. It's going to be awesome. It's not going to be anything dumb. So the shape, the design, the weighting is all still going to be my design. And then obviously the stain, and then potentially a stamp and whatever. And it'll all be logoed. So, I mean, Titleist outsourced everything. A lot of other folks have. That's kind of how it all gets started. Finding these tools is extremely difficult. Because basically those 3 dudes that I named are the only ones that I know of that have them other than Louisville and Middle Ground. And it's not that they're hoarding them. It's they use them, and they're the Indian's not going to give up his arrow. You know what I mean? So I can build some of these things, and it's also about room. The routing plate and kind of jig for like the sole plates are actually built to where you clamp in the blank head, and it has, it's hard to describe. It's got a jig for the exact shape of the sole plate with the router, and you move the head as it's in this locked block where it can only go the shape of the sole plate, which is pretty neat. And they basically have the same general idea for the face insert but it's a lot more simple, and that's something I could actually, I don't want to say easily make, but relatively easily make here at my house. So I'm going to have to outsource this first run for those two things and those two things only. Everything else is going to be made with my hands. But I'm definitely not really upset about the outsourcing part of it because of who's going to be doing it.
So for us people that play golf backwards, us lefties, can we get in on this new Larsen golf action, or are we going to be waiting a little bit?
With the current state in my garage, your left on the shelf is normal. But
that's okay. Used to it.
My cousin, who, like I said, who's an extremely good golfer who we always battle, he's left-handed. So he's always like, dude, I need to get one. I'm like, buy me one. So I've gotten him some persimmons from time to time too. But I think, actually, I mean, I know I can get lefties. I just need to get that connection going. So this first run, I don't know, but I mean, the first time that lefty stuff comes out, it'll be special too, because I'll probably make some kind of joke with it, because you guys are diseased and pariahs to the golf world. And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's fine. You guys always get like the good tee box lies and everything. You get to stand in everyone's divots, so it must be fun for you.
Yeah,
so
it makes us better golf that way.
I wish I could swing lefty. It's so much a better looking swing, just like baseball. Left-handed swings always look so much better. But
it is true.
Yeah, it's true.
I will toot my own horn.
I'm jealous of it, to be honest. I've tried swinging left-handed. I look like a baby reindeer falling all over my ass.
How much can you impact what the golf ball does based upon how you effectively sand the club and create the shape of it?
Just about as much as a modern when it comes to shape alone. Because the radius I can change. I can make it really, really radial, kind of like Bryson's new irons. I can make them that. I can make them perfectly flat. I could make the grooves really wide and really deep. I could make them really thin. I can make no grooves if I wanted to. And then
I'm wondered about that, because there was this transition in drivers where drivers had grooves and now they're smooth face. How does that impact spin on a golf ball?
I don't know. I have not tested those. I do have, I think I have two. I know I have one. It's technically not mine. It's just in the shop. It's a friend of mine, so if I wanted to go play it, I could go play it. But it's a Louisville. It's some kind of trainer club. It has no grooves, nothing, just completely smooth face, which it's pretty cool. And I have another Cleveland. It's an old Cleveland prototype that I have. It just needs to be shafted, which I think I'm going to throw. I have plenty of shafts now. I'm probably just going to throw a shaft on it and go play that and just see how it is. So I don't know. I like grooves. I don't know. It's just the way it looks.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to put fairly small grooves on mine. As we get closer to that, because I mean, that's one of the last things to do is score the lines. I'll probably do some field testing beforehand. Maybe a bunch of little lines, maybe 3 or 4 good size ones. Who knows? I don't know. That's something I can ask, because I have some R&D buddies around here that I'll ask them. I'm a pretty large golf nerd, but not quite that large.
Get on the track, man.
Yep. Yes. Yep. That's one thing I want to do. I want to be able to get these heads back to where I can take on and off the sole plate easily and mess around with different weights. So if you look at some of the power belts, they have the weight on kind of the ass end of the head. And you look at some of the older McGregors, everyth's focused on the front. You've got some of them that are kind of in the middle. When you take off that sole plate, believe it or not, there's a lot of wood missing from those some of the times, and a lot of lead, or basically hot melt without being hot. It's there's a lot of science into these heads. It's not just one block of wood and nothing else. There's different holes.
Okay, I guess perception-wise, that's kind of what I thought it was.
So I thought that too until I started getting some that I could just take the sole plate off, and I popped them up, and I opened one. It was a PGA Tour, or not PGA Tour. It was a PGA branded ladies 3-wood, and it was like Swiss cheese inside. It was basically hollow. I've opened up other ones that are really neat and organized, where there's 2 of them, 2 different ports, and you can put weight in either one, or this one had none. I've opened them up for it's been fully leaded. I've opened them up for there was nothing. So it really depends on the maker and what you want to do. If you notice all these drivers and sets that I've put out, the driver is always silver, and the 345s or beyond are always that gold brass color. Reason being is they use the stainless on the drivers, who's lighter weight. They use the heavier weight brass on everything else because they're typically hitting it on the fairway into the rough, and it can cut into things more. I like a heavier club. I'm probably going to use brass on my drivers. That's going to eliminate having to put weight and distribute everything there, but that might not end up so well. It's going to put all the weight swinging under the golf ball and not necessarily through it. So that's something I'm going to have to play around with how I want the flight to come off of these clubs. So I want a low flight line. Do I want it to come off low, or do I want it to come off high? Do we need to go all the weight on the bottom and have, 7 degrees of loft so it doesn't launch in the air? Or, 7 might be a little extreme, but, it's going to be a play around. And I have a bunch of ideas. I can get 3 or 4 solid ones that I'll be able to do and test before we really, really let anything out. And I don't
Well,
think
it's interesting how like one thing you can do will impact something else, and then you have to figure out how to manipulate that into one thing that makes the most secret sauce.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure McDonald's didn't nail it on the first Big Mac sauce try.
No. Yeah.
But
Sean, ask your question or I'm going to ask him.
Which one? I thought of a really stupid one, but I really don't think now that I'm talking with you that it's actually going to make any sense. Yes. But so the thing I wanted to ask you is, like, if you wanted to compete with a 460cc titanium modern driver, could you make a light enough hollow wood driver of the same size and see how it stacks up against it? Like, is that even possible? Or would that just be out of the realm of possibility?
I mean, you'd need a big ass block. I think it would be pointless. I don't see the bigger the wood making the ball go further, if that makes sense. So
see, that's what she said. Damn it.
Hey, if you can get to England on a rowboat, more power to you. But a lot of ladies like the cruise ship. The problem with that, I think, would just be the durability of the wood. I mean, the bigger the piece, the more you're going to be able to split. Obviously, trying to hollow it out, you're going to have thinner walls of wood, which is a weaker material. I mean, there's guys that make jumbo heads that are, but it's mainly just the face being, nearly 2 inches tall. It's not that much of a difference, and definitely not in width or length. But I can't answer that for sure. I know I would never try it. I think personally it would be a waste of time to try it. If I had the dream scenario where I could fart around and throw something on like a big giant CNC machine and throw it together in a day, yeah, fuck it, I'd try it. But I don't think it would benefit at all. I think a smaller head, you're going to have better. Obviously, it's a smaller unit, so the weight distribution is going to be easier to do. I think it can be a little bit more aerodynamic if it's a little bit smaller. Obviously, the shape can change all that, but you're just going to have more force in a more pinpoint location with that smaller head that's going to give you a longer drive. The thing with the bigger drivers to me is the only thing it's giving you, it's giving you a little bit of distance, but it's giving you more forgiveness on mishits rather than, like, it's rewarding you for being a shitty golfer compared to playing a persimmon where you have to be good every time. You don't get a miss. I mean, you get the rarest of mishits. So I don't know if my answer made as much sense as your question made sense, but I think we're on the same page there.
My question made no sense, but I thought it would be something fun to think about. If, like,
I've never thought of it.
Could I make something as good as a modern driver made out of wood? Because the argument now is, like,
I mean, I don't see anyone walking around with a peg leg. It's all prosthetics or prosthetics now. So it's tough to.
True.
It's tough.
Good comparison.
Yeah, I don't know why I immediately went to Pirates, but that works.
But like I've found, and I thought initially the first time I hit it, I thought this is going to be so damn hard to hit, and for me, it was learning curve more on tempo of my swing than thinking like just completely missing the golf ball. And like you said, and there's a Callaway throws it out now that their whole face is the sweet spot. And if like technology is great, technology is wonderful, it's fantastic, but
there's a
at
limit.
the rate of if you allow technology to continue to improve for you and you think I'll just keep going backwards, you don't really get anywhere further than you were, because if you're losing ground as a human being and an athlete and technology is replacing it, you're always just going to hit the golf ball 250 yards.
Yeah. I mean, they're giving a lot of bad golfers false confidence, which is fine. Yeah. It doesn't matter. None of the people, I mean, obviously the pros are playing it, they're getting paid, it's going to help them. But your average day-to-day golfer, it doesn't really matter to a lot of them if they're getting better or not. They just want to go out and have fun and be able to say they did this, right. which is great. That's awesome.
The mission and the message of golf.
Yeah, but if you do legitimately want to get better and you find that these new, easy-to-hit modern drivers are just boring, the persimmon brings out a whole new game within a game. I mean, I don't want to say life-changing, but it's definitely game-changing. Like it's incredible. It's a whole new level to the game that if you've never hit one before, you've definitely never experienced. And yeah, it's a change. And I've had to teach several people how to hit them now. And it usually takes anyone between, depending on their skill level, from 12 to 30 swings to kind of get one that they strive and go, oh shit, consistently, obviously. Yeah. When you hit it on the screws, hey, where it comes from. It's an incredible feeling. And
just that I love that like frozen rope bullet.
The little takeoff, the little up right at the end. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. If it just, it warms my heart. I just love it. And it feels like when you hit one well, that it's something that you have crafted of yourself and not just solely relying on 21st century technology and mass robot printing something on the other part of the planet.
Yeah, it rewards you for a good shot and it punishes you for a shitty swing. So I mean, you can have bad swings all day with modern stuff and he'll still hit it down the middle. Like, what fun is that? I mean, obviously it's fun for the guy who just is out there to slam beers and make stupid TikTok videos, but they can all drive into a lake. And but if someone who's a low handicap wants a new challenge other than the day-to-day grind of golf, play the persimmon. One, it's going to be a different challenge and be way more fun. And two, when you do play your moderns, they're going to be so easy to the point where it's boring. It's pretty cool. It might be a little extreme on the boring side, but to me it is. Like, I don't enjoy playing them that much anymore. Yeah, sure, I can hit it, over 300 or whatever, right around that, and be like, ooh, yeah, I hit it longer than you. But I'd rather get out there, smoke the persimmon, and be 10 yards behind the guy who just, oh my God, it's the longest drive of my life. I'm like, yeah, I just hit this club made from the 50s. And you're right there, almost, dude. So it's cool.
Almost as far.
It's way more of a flex.
What's your fondest golf memory? Or what's your first golf memory?
I can vividly remember every summer going to Willow Creek, California, which if anyone on this show knows what that is, kudos to you. It's a small town way up north in Humboldt County in the middle of nowhere. That's where my grandparents lived at the time. My aunt owns that house now, so we sold the house. But there was a golf course called Bigfoot Golf Course. It was it was 9 holes, but you could play twice at different tees. And it was of me getting extremely pissed off. Their second hole there is really cool. The first hole is just a straight shot, had a big plateau nipple green, really old school built. The second hole was really cool. It was this little par 3, way up top shelf on the hill, over the road for the people who lived there. And then down in the water was all behind. And I sculled a shot, fucking threw my club. My dad whooped my ass. and then I played really well the rest of the time. But I think, yeah, I mean, I don't have individual memories. I think starting there, first one would be learning and playing there, doing Easter egg hunts, and then hitting golf balls in the range and playing it at Bigfoot, which they're bringing it back. So it got closed maybe a decade ago. Pot farmers bought it because it's Humboldt County. And then they had a stipulation they had to keep it a golf course for X amount of years. They did, and then they tried to grow pot. No one wanted to buy their stuff, and then everyone was pissed. The golf course was gone, and it was abandoned forever. And then one of the tribes up there bought it and is now rebuilding the golf course. They're putting in like the clubhouse. My grandpa was the bartender there. I remember getting Shirley Temples and sitting at the bar thinking that was awesome because I was like 9 years old sitting at a bar with all these old dudes getting hammered. Yeah. And they're putting in like one of my favorite breweries is going to have a tap room there. They're redoing the whole building. Like it's going to be awesome. So like my cousin and I are like, as soon as that thing opens, we're on a flight. We're going. So that's going to be really neat. And then my aunt gets to play it because their house is 5 minutes from it. And yeah, so that would be first memory. Fondest, oof. It's probably the trip with my cousin the first time I went to Bandon. I landed in Portland. We played in Portland, played Wildwood. And we drove up to Chambers Bay up in Washington, played Chambers, drove back to Portland, and the next day drove down to Bandon, played a bunch of Bandon for 2 days, and drove up to Gerhardt on the coast, and then drove back to Portland. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like a 900-mile journey, and we played a ton of golf. And yeah, that would probably be my fondest golf memory, I think, probably. I don't know. There's a lot.
See, all I can hear right now is Brian's brother screaming in rage right now that someone that works as a superintendent likes golf.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's a super too, and he's like, that's the last thing I want to do on the face of the earth.
I never want to play my golf course. Nope. People are like, oh, let's play yours. No, I don't want to play my golf course. No, never.
Interesting.
I've played it.
You're there too much.
Yeah, I'm there all the time, and when I play it, I'm not going to be able to. And it took me a while when I first got my first superintendent job. It took me a while to not go to a golf course and notice everything that's wrong or everything that needed to be worked on. And it wasn't nitpicking the other super's job.
It's there. It's present there as part of yourself.
Yeah. Or going there and be like, oh man, I wonder if they rolled these today. Or man, what's the height of cut? Oh man, are they verticutted today? Or when are they going to punt? You know, it took me a while to just go and be like, turn off superintendent brain and just play golf and have fun. And so it's so much easier now. But yeah, my course now, I can't go there and not go, oh dude, so-and-so didn't do this today. What the like? I've asked for this to be done for a week. What the heck, you know?
Or people are probably trying to find you or see you on the golf course.
No,
hey boss,
we're slow enough. I got 4 guys on my staff. We're a really small course, and it's not that bad. But I'll play when I'm at work. I'll play a couple holes, you know, or I'll go and
chip. Like take golf clubs with you.
Oh yeah,
and like stash them in the back of your.
Oh yeah, and I let my staff do it too. Like if it's slow enough, or on their lunchtime. Our shop's right there at one of our tee boxes, and it wraps around on the greens on the other side. So they can play 2 holes in 5 minutes, you know.
Awesome.
So, you know, and I let them do that at lunch. I like my guys to be able to play. I've worked for a superintendent who didn't care for golf, and that blew my mind. And then the second superintendent I worked for was an absolute stick, and I kind of modeled my work after him. So I was the San Diego GCSAA chapter superintendent champion up until 2 weeks ago. I lost this year.
Nice.
But I won it last year. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Aviara, but it's they had the LPGA Tour events there for years. I won it there. I shot 74, and
cool.
I was pretty happy with myself. And this year I didn't have it. I thought I went in and I was like, I didn't even break 90. That was terrible. And they're like, oh, you shot 79. I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's pretty good for how bad I thought I played. So I wanted to play that tournament with Persimmon, but I didn't. I was like, I want to win it. I want to keep my trophy, and then I just didn't have it that day. But,
that's golf.
Yeah, next year I'll probably just play it with Persimmon. Screw it.
And then there'll be a super cool story when you win.
It's definitely doable. I mean, we have a couple of guys out that play in it that are pretty good, and you know, and then there's a bunch that just go out there to mess around. But yeah, I like all my staff to play because you can understand the game a lot more. You can understand what people see. You can stand on a tee box, and go, "Oh, it looks like crap. It's in the way of my shot," or or
you have a vested interest in it because it's something that you play and use.
Yeah, that too. And then it's good for their safety because they can look at. I tell them like every 10, 15 seconds, look at the tee box. You never know when someone's going to show up. When they do, you watch them hit their shot, and if you're a golfer, you can usually tell where a ball is going to go as soon as it gets in the air. And so it's better for their safety on the course too. And then we can all make fun of the players that come to our course because it happens all the time. Just so everybody knows, all the maintenance people are completely judging you and making fun of you all the time. So
I expect it.
Yeah, especially if you're left-handed.
Yeah. Well, I get looked at all the time.
Well, yeah, you're on the wrong side of the ball. But
I know.
I can't help it but ruthlessly make fun of left-handers because of my cousin, and it's so silly because who really gives a shit, right? Like who really cares? It's just funny. It's so stupid.
I just can't get over that the amount of
when you're on a driving range as a righty, and then you stand next to a lefty, and then you're just constantly staring at each other.
So you blow him a kiss,
right? That's a weird vibe.
There's a course in downtown Edmonton, and there's literally a whole section that says no lefties.
That's cold.
Yeah, and it's a double decker. It's a two tiered range deck, and it's like no lefties. Screw you.
It's Canada. You can probably sue for a big discrimination suit.
Maybe. I probably win. It's a city course though, so I probably wouldn't stand a chance.
No.
But yeah, it is what it is.
So, it's pretty funny.
So Sean and I and Half Set Jeff were going to Pinehurst in December to go play together. We're playing 2, 4, and 10, right, Sean?
That's right.
Ooh, that's a doozy of a trip there. Those 3 courses.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got Tobacco Road lined up on
it's like
Sunday as well.
Bucket list. I have not been out there yet, but it's like everyone's like, "Oh, what do you want to play when you go to Pinehurst?" I'm like, "I want to play Tobacco Road." Like, I'll play whatever course in the Pinehurst Resort. I don't really give a shit. Like, that's fine. I want to go play Tobacco Road. And then what's the new one they just put out there? Is that 10 with the head of the new logo with the little mine shaft part? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to play those, but it's like
that course looks super fun and just really varying topography and everything like that.
I'm excited for Rodeo Dunes. That's going to be
that
sick.
New one in Bandon?
No, it's made by DreamWorks or whatever the heck they call themselves, Dream Resorts. It's all the Bandon guys, but it's like 30 minutes out of Denver. They have 3 courses already planned. They're starting to build them, and they're probably going to get up to 6. So it's going to be Bandon, but by Denver. Ooh. Yeah, it's called Rodeo Dunes, built on all sand too. It's going to be sick.
What was that one guy's name in Colorado? Jason Taylor. So I'd like to get his take on it because he was in that area. So
yeah.
This is they're billing it as it's 30 minutes from the Denver airport. So
interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I mean, I love Bandon.
I've got more trips on my bucket list right now than I can count.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I got to like halfway knock off Kapalua when we were out in Hawaii. I didn't get to play it, but I got to go there. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So what is the top of your bucket list?
In no particular order because it's rotating. If any of them came up, it's a go. I want to do Payne Valley. I want to get out there. I want to do Sand Valley out in Wisconsin. Obviously, Pinehurst and Tobacco Road.
I mean, I can check off one of those for you next year if you're willing to go.
Hey, I'm always willing to go. It's work and.
So we're looking at June next year doing Erin Hills, and then.
Am I in Bandon in June?
Well, that's a big shout, but yeah, if you're in the Wisconsin area in June next year, we're doing Erin Hills, and then we're gonna pick off some other courses. So maybe Whistling Straits if we can afford it. Sand Valley was one that was discussed. So
Sand Valley that's one that's high on my list. Let's see here. I've got Bandon planned for next year. I'm going to be able to check off every course at Bandon, which I'm excited for.
That's big.
I was there the day after Shorty's opened, so I got to play that. when it was super fresh. Where the heck is this thing? Did we plan this thing that long ago? My God. Yeah, I'm going at some point next year. I don't know if it's June, but yeah. I mean, I'm always in. Whoever's got a cat, pet it for me, please, because I miss having my cat. My wife's got our dog. We just got a...
Right here.
Yes. Oh, that thing's so fuzzy. Yes, I pet the shit out of that cat. We just got an English Cocker Spaniel. She's like 5 months old. She'll be a Turk dog. She's all blonde. It's been really good dog.
Nice.
That's what's cool about Goat here is we can bring our dogs and everything, and so there's a ton of
that place seems so fun, and the vibe and the essence of that. We've got one course in Winter Park, suburb of Orlando, called the WP9, and it's built in 1914, and then was renovated 6 or 8 years ago off of some guys who worked under Coor Crenshaw.
No, man, it's got to be cool.
It is so fun. Not a particularly long golf course. The first time that I actually hit a persimmon wood, I was playing with 2 other people from Random Golf Club, and then just this guy ended up as the 4th in our group, and he had a Hogan 4 or 5 wood, and just hit a beauty. And then that was suddenly like you need to do this in your life. Because it's not a particularly long golf course, but they redid those green complexes and the bunkering and everything like that. And if you are in Central Florida, it quickly became.
It should be out at the show next year. Okay. Preliminarily, well, yeah, I'm like, it's agreed upon for the show. I've got my way in, and I've got the okay from the wife.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll stay in contact because if we could sneak out and go play that together, it'd be epic. But just to hang out at the show would be.
Yeah, I've never been to the PGA show, so I'm excited.
You cannot even fathom how big it is.
I've been told that. But I also do the GCSAA show every year, which is monstrously huge. But I do know that the PGA show is probably like 10 of those in one. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. So I think I'll be actually going with Paul and Powerboat. So.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah. We'll totally see you guys. All right. Well, we should wrap this up so that you can get back to your life and your wife and
she can wait
and everything like that.
My dog wants dinner.
Oh God, look at that ham. Jesus. Oh, here, you can tell Sean about him. Let me go.
Okay. We've got you something, Sean, so that you can at least be part of the.
Is it a lefty?
It's a lefty. And not just one of them, 2 of them.
Oh God!
So now
I can feel my juices flowing right now.
Now we can play one day at Pinehurst, half set, Persimmon Woods.
God, look at those things. See, I was thinking like, if I can get if you can find me lefties and then ship them to me once they're like.
Yeah, these are yours. These are going to be yours.
How do I do that?
Oh, they're done. I took care of it.
You did not.
No, I did.
You're such an ass.
Well, give it a squeeze because he got you some clubs.
Yeah. You're
man,
the one.
So
the one who.
These are Kenneth Smith's handmade in Kansas City, 3 and 4 woods. They're not refinished yet, but they will be. I just saw an article, or I don't know if it was an old one or a recent one. Yeah, they are. And those inserts are going to pop. They got plenty of metal on them to give it some good weight. They do have this weird metal ferrule, but I'm going to do a little.
That makes it look cool. Yeah. It looks like the jet, like something you see on the Jetsons or something.
Ooh, yes, Elroy. Yeah, I'm not that young, so it works. But yeah, these will be headed your way. I'm going to start them here soon. They're going to be sweet.
Shit.
Yeah, Kenneth Smith. I was reading an article, like I was saying, something about like the forgotten club maker. Was Kenneth Smith. And I've seen more and more of his stuff. I actually saw a set on eBay. It was a full set for Simmons and irons left-handed. I have no use for the irons, but I was like, oh, I wish I could just get the woods. But yeah, these.
You know how long I've been looking for lefties in those just to have, and I can't find any. Unless I go on eBay, but I mean.
I have a couple of Powerbuilt ones, but those are going with the Powerbuilt deal. So once I get a lefty driver, I'll let you know.
Hell yeah!
I do legitimately have a lefty list of people that have been waiting for lefty stuff. So here.
Well, I appreciate you for taking care of us, even though we're the scum of the golfing world.
No, the scum of the golfing world is anyone who does donuts on their carts, disrespects the golf course, plays their music too loud.
Doesn't fill their divots.
I honestly don't fill mine a lot because sometimes it's unnecessary. Some people just fill them wrong, and depending on where you're playing in the entire world, it's unnecessary.
We learned about that from my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
It's gentle. You don't build a mountain because when you build a mountain,
you fuck up the reels,
messes up the blades. Right.
If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you can put it in there. But if you're playing like Bermuda and you take a divot and you put it back, it's not going to grow back. It's a waste of time. So
I learned that. God, maybe 10 minutes before we started this.
Hey, look at that.
I was watching TikToks on it.
Oh man, yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't loop those people in, but anyone who's just a general dickhead on the golf course. Oh, every single slow player, every single one of them. I hate you a lot, and I hope I never get stuck behind you, and you hope I never get stuck behind you because you'll hear it. And obviously there's leeway with people learning or teaching or whatever, but in a general sense, it's let the people play through. And if you're going to suck fast. Like, I can't stand...
They would not have liked the guys I played behind yesterday.
They wouldn't have liked me. I can't stand slow golfers, unless it's a kid or super old people, or if it's just backed up and there's nothing you can do about it. But when you get...
I always think that that's the most ridiculous situation is when you can see that there's three groups in front of them and and you're getting mad at the people in the group in front of you. There's literally nothing that you can do. What do you want me to do? You want to just hit into the people on the green?
Yeah. We've been yelled at by people who are stupid like that. And I look at them I'm like, come here, and point at them like they're there. That group's on the green. The other group's on the tee. Drive backwards and shut the fuck up. Like, everyone's waiting. It's not just you. You're not the most important person on the planet. You're the one who decided to play on a holiday. So you're going to wait with the rest of us.
Also, you're outside in nature, and you've been looking forward to this all week. Yeah. So maybe just woosah.
It's not my fault that you don't drink your beer fast enough and now it's warm. That's your fault. So... I
don't mind a steady pace, but if I'm waiting 15 minutes on every hole or on every shot, got a problem.
Oh yeah, no, there's obviously a limit, but it's like we were just saying, like, there's times where you can't control it, and there's times where it's like, all right, let me play through, or just like people who drop multiple balls, like be aware of your surroundings. If you're playing on a weekday and there's no one around, drop another ball, fine, hit it. If it's Saturday and the course is slammed, go drop. Don't drop one right there. Drive up. People piss me off. If you couldn't tell. Yeah, slow play. Can't stand it.
I'm glad I'm above those people.
Yeah, I love to play super fast. Most of the time, especially GOAT, I usually try and play Monday, Friday at the minimum. And we don't even keep score anymore. Like, we just go out and just play. And we fly through that course when we can, but a lot of times it gets backed up because GOAT's just gotten so popular.
So GOAT was owned by the city, right?
Still technically is.
Okay. But then the Ashworth Link Soul
leased it
kind
out.
Of.
It was mainly Ashworth, John did, as far as I know. Link, it was just his brand, Link Soul. There's been a whole thing with that recently. We definitely don't need to get into. But yeah, GOAT was. I think it's on like a 99-year lease. It's not going anywhere. John's put a ton of work into it. He's been there.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Oh man, it only gets better every day. So I started playing it like 3 or 4 years ago. Half of it was dirt. The greens are always pretty good. A lot of it was dirt, shitty, and now it's basically grass everywhere. A bunch of new bunkers, new greens have been put in like different complexes, and they're always changing something or updating something or adding this, subtracting that. It's an amoeba. It's ever loading and ever living, and it's you go there and it's just a community. It's somewhere where you can go and just hang out and not hit a golf ball and have a great time, or you can go out and grind and practice and really dial things in. You can go out on skins on the Friday and really compete your ass off, or you can go and just fart around, bring out the dogs, pound a bunch of beers, get a hot dog, and it's the perfect world of golf. To me.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
and just what golf is to its core.
And you can wear a t-shirt. That's what I like.
Ooh.
T-shirt golf is insanely underrated.
Never done it.
It'll change your life. I don't like playing in polos now. It's weird.
I do it when
I play the par 3 course. All right. So, what have we learned today? Persimmon drivers are awesome.
Lots.
They'll squash your ego for the better.
Yeah.
And you should buy some from Trevor.
And don't play slow.
Check. Yes, and don't play slow. Check them out on Instagram. Ask your wife or your mom or your dad to get it on your Christmas list, custom, brand new.
Or just buy them and don't tell them. Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
That's a good idea too. Would you send a discounted receipt option? You ever seen that in a surf shop?
I saw that. I just don't send a receipt. So
okay, good.
Yeah, my shop's custom. When you get it, that's it. There's no returns. It's and then we don't do that. But I could, I would just handwrite it. Like, this is a gift. He did not spend any money on this.
Right. I gave it to him out of the goodness of my heart.
I actually don't even know him. It's just a random address, and it happened to be exactly what he wanted and what he's been talking about. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse. I'm like the Ed McMahon of
Joe up at your door. You just want a brand new Persimmon driver.
Yeah.
All right. What else would you like to tell the people?
I don't know. Do you have any questions about what I do or how I do it, or what do we have in stock? Shoot me an Instagram message. It's what I operate on. A website will come at some point. I just don't have time or the patience to build one. So we do have shirts and stuff. I have a merch shop, which is pretty cool.
He's got shirts that say "Make the Pros Play Persimmons."
Yep, there is a "Make Pros Play Persimmon" t-shirt. You got the shop shirts on. There's a couple of hats on there. This is one of them. One of the shirts is just the script, and it has the shop font on the back, or the shop logo. And if you're down in San Diego area and want to play Persimmon, shoot me a message. I'm always around. It's few and far between, but you can get a special invite to my Wonka Chocolate Factory of golf clubs and come. It's at my house, so not everyone can just come here. But if I've talked to you long enough on Instagram or whatever, some people can get a special invite. So
would it be like, you pick them up somewhere on a street corner, put a bag over their head so we don't know where to go?
Not quite. That would be super fun though. If I could just old school it and just rip the van around. That'd be phenomenal. Yeah, that would be the best. Don't hesitate to reach out. I've got over 400 clubs, so whatever you're looking for, I'd probably have it. If not, I got something darn close. And be on the lookout for the originals coming soon.
I am super excited to get those things that are in your hand. And if you're ever up in Alberta, there's a round of golf in our mountains with your name on it. So
nice. Does it literally have my name on it, or is this just an invitation? Because it'd be really cool if there was a Trevor golf course.
I'm sure we could find one, but there's no Trevor golf course that I know of. There's a Stewart.
That's not even remotely close, but okay.
But I mean, there's courses with names on them, so
awesome.
But if you're ever up in Alberta, rounds on me.
All right, count it.
Cool. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Awesome.
I'm glad all the technical issues happened. Thanks, Google. But yeah, that was great.
Gotta make it interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to it and promote it. And best of luck to you guys to keep growing the show. It's been fun to listen to.
Likewise to you. I'm excited to see how your business is going to grow from here. You've done a lot in a short amount of time. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming.
March 2025. Be on the lookout.
Oh, man. Yeah, who knows? The 1-year anniversary will be crazy. But killer. Thanks again, boys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
See you in January.
That's right. We'll be there.
All right, later.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
Oh, another awesome one, man. That was as good or better than I thought it was going to be.
And you got me clubs.
Yes.
What the hell?
I had to, man. You've you're the one who came up with this grand and glorious idea to have a show, so I figured I had to come up with a way to pay you back, and now we could have a 3-on-3 persimmon and half set deal. So I know Jeff will be really excited about that.
I gotta see. I know my buddy Everett. He has old clubs. I don't think he has persimmons, but I could see if he'd bring some of them around.
Yeah,
and then we could do something
Jeff,
with it.
Jeff's got them too. So
yeah,
I mean, if as long as he's a righty, it would.
He's
be
a righty.
easy.
Yeah, I'm the only backwards one here, so
it would be easy to facilitate that.
I cannot wait to see those.
Yeah,
I assume that they're gonna go to you, and then I'll just pick them up.
I'm gonna take care of it, and he's gonna ship them to you direct.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, thank you very much. My heart is very warm right now.
Yes, thank you.
I was not expecting that by any stretch of the mind. Because I was like, man, I want to get some lefties now that we know this guy, but apparently I don't have to do anything. So
yep, no, already done. I took care of that quite a while ago. Trevor's a good dude, and he's like, if he's got some lefties, he's got everything.
I appreciate it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, hit him up on Instagram. Give him a follow.
I did. I follow him on both my accounts.
Yeah. Just everybody. If you're listening to this show, go check out his site. He's a super awesome dude, really quick to respond, and just a genuinely awesome person. So super excited to have him on the podcast.
His stuff is legit. His page looks really how do I say it? It doesn't look phony. He takes pride in his work. It looks super legit, and you'll get what you're worth out of the money you pay him.
Right.
So
well, and even $400 for a 1 of 10 custom built driver for you is like, you can barely buy a used modern driver for that price.
No, they're still selling Mavericks at Golf Town for $450.
Yeah,
that's a driver that's 4 years old now.
Right, and this is something that's yours, and is a piece of art, not just a stamped out, soulless.
And I'm gonna get some really old school head covers for that thing too.
Yeah,
so.
I hit him up on it today too. I think he's gonna send me some. I'd be super stoked about that because we need to make that happen. Well, cool. This is a long one. We're like 2 hours.
Yeah, I'll have to trim down it a little bit, but it's a long one.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging in there with us, and Movember on the next one.
Yeah, I am. Every one of these shows has been awesome, but Movember is going to be great. We got Max on, fellow golfer, so we're going to talk about golf as a catalyst for mental health, and just how we can take better care of ourselves, but more importantly, learn the skills to have better conversations with our dads and our brothers and our friends and our cousins, to check in on each other and keep each other well and healthy and alive on this planet. Because, being alive is a challenge, and everybody's got their stuff. And, when it's good, it's good. And when it's bad, it can be really, really rough. And we just don't, as guys in general, we just kind of bottle that stuff up. And
true story,
it's the 21st century. We can talk to our friends about stuff because, we might not always have the right words, but there are people here that want to support you and work you through that. So that's definitely something that we're going to talk to Max about and have some resources and places to go for yourself, or how do I have a better conversation with my friends to check in? Because guess what? If you're playing golf, you're outside with your friends for like 5 hours. It's a wonderful opportunity to check in on your people.
Exactly. Well, that's going to be a good one. That'll be the following week after this episode. We might sprinkle in a bonus episode on the weekend. We've got Breaking St. Andrews dropping on the 20th. So as of this recording, that's tomorrow. And we're going to discuss how that went. We'll try not to spoil it. And then I need to rant a little bit about the Breaking series in general. I've seen a lot of things I don't agree with, and I have the platform now where I can just spew my guts about it because I'm hot under the collar.
Go for it.
So that'll be maybe on the weekend. We'll see. Whenever I feel like it.
Yes.
I have the power.
We're busy boys.
True. Oh God, Metallica's this weekend too. So like, we got Metallica 2 shots Friday, Sunday. I'm excited.
That'll be awesome.
My wife's not going anymore. She's going to Toronto. You want to come up and see Metallica for free?
Well, it wouldn't be for free. I don't know that I think my passport expired. I need to get it revalidated. Ooh. I know.
All right. Next time.
All right.
But thank you for listening to episode number 9. This has been the All for One Golf podcast. Golfcast? I don't know. But yeah, thanks for hanging in there. We talked to Trevor Larsen today. He spewed a whole bunch of really cool knowledge on wood.
Persimmon
Man
woods.
knows his wood.
Get you some. It feels real nice.
Nice.
All
right. Till next time, everybody.